This, though, is where Vince McMahon often shines. He has his eye on the big picture. He did since WrestleMania 1. He thinks about where is the next big surge in business going to come from. And he's thinking, Brock Lesnar is my best asset in that regard. He's the guy who can disrupt our business model and get people who aren't paying for the network to pay to see a big match down the line. Whenever Brock's next pay-per-view match is, it's going to be a bigger deal than what they did with Dean Ambrose, and it's going to be a bigger deal than even what they did with Randy Orton, although I thought they did a nice job hyping it, and that video package was tremendous. This is setting up something very specific that Vince McMahon has in mind, and I'm curious what it is. Steve, I am a little fearful that Shane taking the F5 means we're going to see Brock against Shane, because Shane took it to Undertaker in Hell in a Cell. Am I crazy to even entertain that notion, or do you watch that and think, knowing Vince McMahon, working with him, seeing what he did with Shane earlier this year, is there a chance they're going to do that?
I don't think there's a chance in hell. That
Good.
Right off the top of my head, absolutely no way, because first of all, you know Shane's got the balls to do it, from a booking standpoint, certainly. And as a performer, Shane will do anything. I love that guy. But I just don't think you come out whole by him by Shane getting decimated by Brock. The F5 was enough. Whether he gets fined, suspended, or there's bad blood forevermore between the two, you can't trust Brock, or he's just an animal. I don't think you put him in the ring with Shane, because the only thing he can do with him is mop the floor with him. Look what he just did with Randy Orton. So I think they built that thing perfectly. I loved what they did with John Cena and AJ Styles, and all of a sudden, bam! At the end of the show, heat. Your monster guy goes just ballistic on one of your top guys who's making a return. He's got something to be pissed off about. That he never wanted the doctor to stop the damn match. So I like the way it ended. No, I don't think they're planning for Brock versus Shane at all. I could be wrong, but I think at all.
Oh, I really hope not. I asked somebody who would know last night.
And that's with respect to Shane McMahon. I'm just saying, because it really doesn't matter who was in that spot. It's the fact that they're the commissioner. You don't put them in there with Brock, because that's how dangerous the guy is. And at least that's their perception, and that's what they're building.
Absolutely, and it makes sense for Shane to be out there for another reason. He's the SmackDown guy. Shane is coming out to protect his asset, stop this monster, and I get that, and it works in that context. So I'm not trying to be alarmist. I was a critic of Shane being a credible opponent of Undertaker, even though a lot of people loved it, and it was this big spectacle at WrestleMania. I just thought credibility-wise, it didn't set well with me. I'd really not like Shane against Brock being treated as credible. I think that would be a jump in the shark for a lot of people when it comes to Shane. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't think it will. Although I emailed somebody who would know last night. They replied about other things I asked about, non-wrestling related, did not reply to that question. Can I rule out Shane? So somebody who I think would be privy to it didn't answer. Maybe they just don't know that, and that's possible too. But I think they would. So anyway, what do you think in the context of Roman Reigns against Rusev looking as dominant and brutal and intense as he did, and juxtaposing that with what Brock did to Randy? Is Vince creating that visual picture to build up a heel Brock who beat up Shane, uncontrollable, against Vince's continued project to get Roman Reigns over as a badass babyface top draw?
Hey man, I thought the people, from what I hear, I never know, when they're masking out the crowd, when they're what they're doing, just based on noise. And sometimes I put my headphones on while I'm watching my computer, or I'll take it off and not even listen. I was really trying to listen to I thought he got a pretty decent reception coming out and giving that final spear. If he'd have continued up, a little bit longer with that enthusiasm after that spear, I thought it could have roped him in a little bit more. This is being very critical. I think he's still got a ways to go with Roman Reigns. He's making strides. He's got so much stuff on. Sometimes he dies during his cell. He's still his ass off, but he's dying a little bit too much because he's a big guy. He's just got to sell on the run, kind of like Taker did a little bit. So sometimes he'll die during his cell. He needs to stay alive, keep his face up, good-looking guy. But, if they stick with him, I think he'll turn the corner. But he ain't ready to go with Brock right now, so you still got more work to do. If that's the ultimate goal, he's got several more months to get there before you put him with Brock, in my opinion.
And otherwise, I don't see a lot of guys on the roster who are credible, who would fans would buy as a credible opponent for Brock, whether Brock's a heel or facing a heel or a face. I mean, Samoa Joe, I think, has the girth, the credibility, the badass demeanor to work, and I hope we see that match. Joe mentioned Brock, called him out a little bit on a mainstream media interview a couple weeks back. So I hope that was a sign of things to come. I'd love to see Joe against Brock. Brock's got a 2-3 inches on Joe height-wise, but I think standing face-to-face, they can make it work.
And with the bag of tricks that Joe's got, all of his weapons, I mean, that guy's so versatile. He's got just a tremendous moveset, tremendous psychology. I would think, Brock would love to work with Joe because, like, he does have some size to him. He's not a real muscular guy. He's not a body guy, but god dang, he can work his ass off. And this could be a place, maybe the way he's built, it wouldn't be so easy for Brock to just take him to Suplex City, and they can work a little bit of a Joe-style match. Holy smokes. And then Brock gets away from Suplex City just for a match or two and just displays that amazing athletic ability that he has. And then, just does his ground and pound or whatever he wants to do. But it's a great experiment, a great chance to take Brock into a different level. So all of a sudden you've seen him just smash people in Suplex City, and all of a sudden, bam, here comes Joe with this new style, or because, of what the size could be with those two